2. My thumb just pressed the volume button, which mutes the freaking video and turns it off. So this is a part 2 to that last video I was just making. We just found some black grease and grub in there. So what I'm going to do is get the shirt, stick it in there, try to clean it up a little bit, because I don't really want it running with crud in the engine. I want to keep this as clean as possible, put together clean assembly, brand new, no contaminants, but unfortunately you can't get rid of all the contamination. It's just too hard, and there's sludge in this, so that makes it even worse. This was actually clean, so don't know. I'm going to leave it alone for now. We got the next part of this video which we didn't get to finish because, well, you press something with your thumb, that's what happens. When you don't have a tripod and you like to press buttons and you don't have free hands. It'd be so cool if we did have free hands. But also there's the paint update. I replaced one of my red cans for the low gloss black. I also have a yellow can of paint for the block. I'm going to use the black for the sump. Now this assembly here, the reason I'm pulling this apart is because I didn't actually grease it. Like I put it all together, there's actually... I'm sorry, I'm taking all my energy to get it off the dowel. There's just no way I'm going to get it off without 2 hands. So, there we go. Dowels. There's 2 dowels, is there? Yep, 2 dowels. No grease in here. Okay. Cool. So now, let's pick the camera up and show you. There is no grease in here. So this is all put together dry. This should all line up, so dots on the top are lined up, and that is pretty much ready for some lithium grease. Now, because I don't want to press the button again by accident, I'll try to make this work in some weird way to make this video. Come on. This is an empty box of tissues, which does not do anything to benefit this video. It just makes things even harder. Come on, there we go. Getting closer. So if I really want to do this, I have to use boxes. So then you can see. What can't you shoot? You can't shoot anything. If I can get out that height, that's easy. Just grab the water pump box with stuff in it. Grab this. And just put that together. Actually, you still can't see anything with the light in the way. I have to... Actually not. Ooh, we can do that. I'll be back to turn off these lights. Yay, now you can see. And there's no blinding lights and I don't have to stand in awkward positions. Now you can see the gears, sort of. You can only sort of see the gears. So if I turn this around a little bit more, you can now see both the gears, just not in a zoomed position. So what am I going to do? Well, actually I'm going to pull this one out. What I'm going to do is put some lithium grease in this hole, and on this running surface, put some lithium grease on here, because I don't know actually where it runs, and I don't really want it to fail or rub. Just need a little bit, but I'm going to put in as much as I feel like I need. This lithium grease is a little bit sticky. I think that's a good thing. It means it will last, it will work. That will be fine. Now on the other gears here, I'll do the same for this surface here that it runs on. And fill up this hole with some more grease. So I don't know what's going to happen. The housing I might do some fancy stuff for. Because we don't really want this to fail. We want this to last. So if I want this to last, the first start's going to be very, very important. Come on, get lost. Get off. Okay, there we go, done. Now I can put this to the side for a minute. Grab my gear. Actually not, I forgot. More stuff we haven't done. If I can reach the end of this gear, what I'll do is I'll put some... There we go, that's enough grease. Assembling. Then we go around again, and then we go gear to gear. Now I turn it, I'm turning on the shaft because it's the easiest way I'm going to get this to run. And that just goes to show there is not enough grease. Okay. There's not, I can't show you exactly what I can see, but it's pretty bare. There's not much grease that got through the gears. So I have to go back into this position and I have to turn this again and make sure those gears are full of grease. So that's that. Okay, done. And that gear wants to run away. I'll grab the housing, throw that on here, throw it on the dowels. Done. Then what we do is we find the balance shaft that suits it, and I reckon it's this one. There's this one. This one's the shaft that suits it. Step one, just make sure it's nice and clean. I think there's still some crud on this, so what I'll do is off to the side. Although I could be wrong, this might not be the right one. But it does sort of look like the right one. And no, it is not. This one's the wrong shaft. So there's actually really weird tricks to figure out which one's which. Like this one only goes in so deep, and then it has the recess or whatever you want to call it in there. So this is the right shaft. My brain doesn't pick up on these things straight away, does it? So it's simple as clean that off, wipe it down. Now also I will note while I'm touching this, I don't know if you can see any blue or purple or discoloured rings on this at all. If this actually does focus in on this or not, I have no idea. But there is some discoloration, and it's like a rainbow colour here and in here. So that's that point in there, you can see it, and then it stops, it goes back to normal metal. That is from heat damage, and that's not good. That says there's been friction, and the friction points are probably here, and for that one, for some reason it's there, but it's not anywhere else, so I'm not sure what caused that, and I can't see any evidence of any damage. I'm going to put this in anyway, which is going to be a pain since I don't have the 12 here, but I do have the piece, the bolt. So now I need to keep my hands clean, because you shouldn't be spraying that stuff onto your hands like I am. And I'm hoping I'm not having to do this too much today, spray my hands with that stuff. I actually have a new seal for this as well, so that'll be good. A 12mm socket. Now I know Dad will have one, and I'll pinch it from him if I have to. Cheeky cheeky. Since it's right here, it's just easy access, it's convenience. There we go, and 12. And I have to do this, so I'm going to put that to the side, use the 12, put this all together. Now I also make sure that when I'm putting things together, this isn't going to be perfect, I'll make sure that I've got some lithium grease on every part. Now I've never used lithium grease before, this is like a bit of a first for me, but I'm going to make sure I get it in all the nooks and crannies just to make sure you don't run into any issues. So this could be sitting for a couple of weeks before it's actually running, which is a sad thing, but it can happen. So what I'll do is I'll leave it like that. The gear should be timed correctly. Put these bolts in. Just finger tight. And then I'll turn it over and put in the cam bolt. So this is going to be one whole assembly that goes together. I don't think I'll be able to leave the cam in there though. I'll have to take that out to do the rest of the other stuff that I've got to do. Like I've got to get a gasket made up for this assembly. Now it's easy without the cam in there protruding. So I'll just put this in here. It's nice and finger tight. Grab this cam. There we go. Spins nice and neat, and it will stay there for a while through startup. So what I'll do, like I said, I'll just have to put this to the side. I won't be able to actually use it straight away. So now I know, okay, I'll leave it alone. I'll put this to the side. Now I can't make all the videos in the world for this. It's going to be really hard unless I do a live stream and do this, build it in one day sort of thing. So I'm going to try and see what I can do right here, right now. Can't tighten these up to the torque. So I can double check my torque manual and see what these are. I'm pretty sure these are like 14, 15 when you put them back together again. Do they have a torque setting for the housing plate? So they have the plate. No. They don't say any torques. There's no torque specs on the bolts, so that's not great. There's a balance limit. All the oil holes are alright, and there is no specs on the bolts. But I would assume these are pretty tight because they were really hard to get on and off. I'm going to tighten them on potentially the vise. I don't like how I have to grab it because there's only really one grabbing point. I also have to do those bolts too, so that's not suitable. I have to change the socket, and I have to change the ratchets. And normally those kind of bolts be about 18 to 24 in terms of torque. Actually, I'm going to get mine. That's 110. I'll be back in a second. Seconds, here's the socket. Oh, gosh. Okay, I'm missing a tool. Is it over here? Okay, I'm missing a tool. So, since I can't find that tool straight up, I'm going to change my approach to not leaving the camera behind. That was a horrible idea. That was a very bad idea. I think we're going to quickly go for a look around, see if we can find... Oh, here it is. Found it. Here's the tool. And you have all these tools everywhere, you can't find stuff. But I figured what I should have done, instead of just walking out like that on you guys, I figured I should have taken the camera with me afterwards. Show you, here's the sump. Now, I've put all brake fluid on this on purpose to try and strip the paint to help get all the grease and crap off, because if I can strip the paint, then all that stuff will be much easier to do. And because I'm painting the sump anyway, it's going to be cool. And I've got all those dings in the top there that I'm going to have to knock out. They were already on the engine when I pulled it out. There's some bits and pieces all there. I'm going to press the button again, and I don't want to. Got my cups. Yeah, pretty much. And then here's a hanging up piece of steel. I'm not sure what else I have to show out here, because we're still at the same point we were not too long ago. So things are progressing though. At least now we can see there's some cleaner parts. There's still oil coming out of that for some reason. I've cleaned that as thoroughly as I can. The oil just keeps coming out of that cage. So I figure, in a way, you can't get rid of all contaminants. There'll be oil and stuff on this because it's degreaser. Degreaser does not dry off, unfortunately. It's just like an oil. And this is the bench that I've been working on. I accidentally sprayed once and I've sort of got it all over my bits over here. And I moved that over there because I accidentally got degreaser on it because I was dumb when I sprayed that stuff in here. I shouldn't have done that. And we're going to try and be done here. And now, let's see if we can top those up on the bench. I'm going to call it 24. I believe it's not 24, but they are M12, so they'll be able to take 24. So that's roughly that's what they are on the outside. So they should be that on the inside. So to get this to 24, I'm going to keep backing that out because I don't like that thing going in with me. Nope. So we're at 23. I reckon that's 21. Sorry, that's 24. So that's what I'm going to call 24. I believe these ones here would be like a 14 if I had to put a torque wrench on them. There we go. It's accepted 24, no stripped threads or nothing. But most of these 12 mils are 24. There we go. That's what the cam bolts are. There we go, all 24. I'll double check this one. Check this one, and that's done. Okay, so we've got 24 done. I can't do because this is by hand. It's hand tightness, and I can't do it anymore. And when you tighten these, you have to do them up really, really tight. Like with the mechanically tight they are. And these I can't get any tighter than about that. Without some mechanical assistance. So what I do for mechanical assistance is what my dad taught me. If I can find the jaws of death, I can try to tighten up a little bit more, but that's mechanically tight because by hand you can't get it really as tight as it needs to be. But you don't have torque wrench, unfortunately, on that stuff. So here's your jaws of death, and that should ensure we get about the right torque we need. And Dad's the one who taught me that trick. It's a bad trick in my eyes, but it works. So it's his expensive tools, his problem. He started it, and if it breaks, it's from what he taught me. Why is it always so light? I mean, where is that light coming from? Is that coming from... It's like a reflection. Let's see, if I stand over here, it does stop it. But where's that light even coming from? I can't see why there's such a light coming from the other side of the shop like this. So I'm gonna use the jaws F on this. This will be too hard on a box, I reckon. Tighten and go that way. Tighten and go that way. No, I'm going to strip that one because the box can't support the weight, and I can't put my weight on this. So this is just me showing you a dumb thing that doesn't work, just so I can show you something that I can't set up for properly. And I'm going to cut myself trying. So that's pretty much how I do it. I do it on the vise. We'll do that later. This is why I don't make videos, because that's the kind of problems you'll run into trying to make a video on anything, just about. So the lithium grease I'm going to need for a little bit later as well. So I'm going to be putting that in the cam and on all the lobes of the engine to make sure everything's got oil before the engine even kicks over. It's got zinc in it, so that's cool. And I will call that part 2 of the video, just because it's an accident. It's an accident. Sorry guys, couldn't do it in one video. It's a bit long, but that's where we're at. So next time there's a couple of videos coming along for... I keep saying I've got all these videos that I'm making, but honestly there's only one that's actually been made at the moment, and that's got 20 hours of work in it so far. That's just from assembling a bunch of history, okay? So that's the idea behind the next, hopefully the next video. But it's a lot of work. But I've got this stuff to do, got lots of things to do. It's nice to just sit down and relax sometimes. Yeah, so the video is coming along. It's going to take a while. I can't promise you it's going to be great, but I think it's great because of what it is. It's all in chronological order, so you'll be able to follow through with the whole story essentially and be able to understand what happened at what points in time, why it was such a struggle, and all sorts of other things you'll be able to try and figure out on your own with it. And also, the biggest reason why I got this idea is because you can see how the car has deteriorated visually, but you can see how the internals have developed over that time as well. So while the internals have been worked on, the body has deteriorated. It sucks. That'll be the last thing on my list of things to do, body, work. And at the moment, I think the last thing I should do for this video to let it off and finish it, show you, got pumpkin, weed, and then we've got fennel or parsley. It's meant to be parsley. Then we have, I've forgotten what that is. That's bok choy. This is kale, bee pumpkin. Oh, butternut pumpkins in here. And then we have your pink cauliflowers, which are also your purple broccoli. You have your onion growing. There's no cos lettuce. There's potentially spinach growing there. I don't know what's in them. Oh, fennel is meant to be growing in there, but we don't see no life. Then we have the carrots in here, but as you can see, there's not really much developed. Since then, the very last thing after that gardening thing that I can show before we leave off the video is what something me and my mum did. We've already planted some garlic. I don't know if you can see it very well, but the shoots and the stems are actually out of the ground now. So thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed the video, you enjoyed the video, okay? So I'll leave it at that. There's Mark Mechanical signing off.